Hello and welcome back to the Heroes Hype Amateur Series and what could be our last game of the night. Oh no, Anna, guess what you did?
I did nothing. I know not of what you speak.
It'd be fine if you didn't, be mouthing words.
Nope. I just like to move my mouth without sound coming out sometimes. It's a thing I do. But right now, sound is coming out of my mouth because we are in Game 2 of the finals of the Heroes Hype Amateur Series. Wild Growth versus Goon Squad. Unfortunately, Goon Squad suffered a tragic disconnection last game. They could not bring it back with their friend Bot Gara, so Wild Growth is up one game as we go into the second game on Blackheart's Bay. Yay!
We actually got into a little bit of a conversation in chat about who the best and worst bots we'd ever encountered were as, teammates disconnect or rage quit or what have you. Do you have any particular, good bots or terrible bots that you've encountered?
I feel like damage bots are always sad.
Healing bots, rather good.
Yeah, healing bots not so bad. And then specialist bots like Zagara bot, especially if you're using them for something that's not a very simple thing like creep spread, not so good.
But the Maws...
The Maws were,
average.
Yeah.
For sure.
They were average.
Maybe a little below average, but not, the just worst you maybe have ever seen of Maws. Anyway, let's hop into
They weren't
this.
the worst. That's true.
All right. Well, looks like we're going to be on Blackheart's Bay for this game, too. And Goon Squad have the first pick and first ban. They've chosen to ban Sylvanas, and Wild Growth once again are going to ban Jaina.
Interesting. So two of the big damage dealers that we see picked quite a bit out of commission. Sylvanas can do a lot of damage to structures, and so on this map where you really can be PvE focused and you want to think about only Blackheart and his damage to your structures, banning Sylvanas is not a surprise. Then Goon Squad is also going to pick up Illidan, who will have a lot of success in team fights, also can do a lot of murking, which is important on this map. So great pick. Vala, same deal. She can deal all sorts of damage. And going with damage dealers first, is that a surprise to you, Gilly?
No, not at all. I feel like that's pretty standard here. And like you said, Illidan is so good at murking. He can murk by himself pretty early on in the game. And then, of course, he's pretty quick and can kind of tiptoe around and pick up those pirate camps as well, which really are the key to getting enough coins to be able to turn in. But Vala and Zagara for Wild Growth. And I'm not super surprised, although let's hope that we don't have another Bot Gara appear in this game. One for a tournament is enough for me.
Yeah, we need no more Bot Garas. But Goon Squad definitely not going to get their second chance to play with that Zagara, so she's going to be spreading creep this time for Wild Growth. And that is going to be important on Blackheart's Bay. You can know the movement of your opponents, but not as important creep spread on this map as it may have been on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So Zagara also has some use here with murking as well. She can handle murk camps pretty handily, gather some coins and things like that. Vision will help especially around turn-in. So they will know when their opponents are turning in, as long as Zagara does her job with her creep tumors.
Yeah, turning in as well as around that boss and other merc camps all are really nice, as well as just being able to tell if your team is trying to gank on you. But Goon Squad actually going for a very interesting play here by picking up Uther and Rhaegar. So the top two supports we usually see, at least in this league here, are going to be picked up by Goon Squad, and they're going to force Wild Growth to kind of possibly come up with a different idea. A lot of times we see these teams say, okay, I'm going to take Rhaegar, so you get Uther. I about said Ruther, by the way. Or, vice versa, and there's kind of this understanding, and when one team breaks that, it's kind of like, oh, okay then.
So, we don't have a tank out yet for Goon Squad. Wild Growth says, we want another damage dealer in Zeratul, and we want him to be real sneaky, which is a huge advantage on this map. So we're going to have vision, and we're going to have the ability to sneak around. And then we're going to have a tank who's really good at displacement. And then whatever you pick, we'll deal with that later because you already have the supports we want, so whatever.
You know, Zeratul, like we were talking about Illidan, really good with walking around and picking up those coin camps, but Zeratul can be even better at that because he's got that cloaking. He can sneak over to the other side and you won't see him, you know, sneaking through vision or anything like that while he goes over there and does it. On top of that, it's really nice because if there's a fight going on around the chest, he can kind of just walk in and pick up coins.
Yeah.
Because he's cloaked, and so that adds a lot of utility to him for this map in particular. Goon Squad is going to pick up their tank. They're going to go with ETC, and we should definitely be seeing another damage dealer here to round out the composition so that they're not solely focused on Illidan to try to deal everything in there. They will grab the Falstad. Yay!
That's fun. Lots of mobility there. Hinterland Blast, a really fun ultimate that we may see as well. But they are going to be focused. I mean, they've got 2 healers and a solid tank, so they're really going to have to be focused on protecting their damage dealers. Although, looking at this comp, I feel like I'm looking at something where they're not thinking about team fights. They're thinking more about getting doubloons and turning them in and ignoring the other team.
Well, Wild Growth will pick up Malfurion as their support, so we'll have to see if that will be enough to try to keep Vala, Zagara, and Zeratul alive, as Goon Squad clearly will have a lot of heals. But yeah, like you said, will they have enough damage here? The global map presence from Falstad and ETC is going to be really helpful for them. They can always fly up to wherever they need to quickly to pick up some coins, as well as to the chests. That is, of course, if ETC takes the stage dive, but we generally see that being taken more than Mosh Pit these days.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm interested in how we're going to see these heroes used. Like you said, Malfurion not normally a solo support, so we'll see some fun play there from Wild Growth. Goon Squad picking up Falstad, who we see a little less often, and 2 huge healers, so definitely going to be very sustainable. Have to mention that I am seeing some sick skin tint matching going on from Wild Growth here, so I feel like that's a good indicator of some quality play we're going to see out of them.
That's always an indicator of quality play, is of course the style points, and you are right. They are really doing their best to match. They're actually, I believe it looks like, trying to make this as hard on us as possible, because, wait, are they just confused about who is going to play Illidan here? I think they might be.
Yeah, getting that worked out, and
oh, it's Malfurion and Illidan. Yeah, that's not going to be difficult at all. Look for the beard, I guess. That's really the best indicator. So Blackheart's Bay, Anna, you love this map. What is it about this map that you love so much?
well, you said it really best earlier, Gilly, in that you were talking about that you can play this map PvE. So I like the fact that you can have so many different types of strategies on this map. Maybe you drafted a really good team fight comp and your goal is to just catch the other team while they're trying to engage with objectives on the map and take them out of commission and build your experience to the point where you're just a powerhouse around the map. Or maybe you just want to grab all of the doubloons that are on your side of the map, stay away mostly from your opponents, and just turn in and refuse to allow other turn-ins from your opponents. I like that you are able to do that. So I like the fact that it allows you to be creative. I like the fact that you can use heroes in different ways than you might normally when you need them to get around the map or carry things or be more sustainable because you don't want them to drop their coins, things like that. And I like that there's a lot of movement that can happen and a lot of catching you out of position that happens on this map because there are so many things that you're trying to accomplish. It's a bigger map than Tomb of the Spider Queen with a very similar mechanic, so there's less of the night fight in the closet and more of the like wandering around a haunted mansion type of feeling.
You know what I really like about this map, Anna?
What do you really like?
There are sharks that can be released from captivity.
I like that too because I think that humane treatment of animals is really important, and that shark looks really uncomfortable before you free him.
He's like basically standing up, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's got like a rope around his nose and stuff. It's really sad. And then you can free him with your battle, which is very gratifying.
Yes, I agree.
Hashtag free the sharks. Blackheart's Bay.
I do believe that the first team to free the sharks might be indicative of which team will capture our hearts and this series.
That's probably true, Gilly. And we shall see in just a moment as we get on to this map. Again, this is Game 2, Wild Growth versus Goon Squad here in the finals of the Heroes Hype Amateur Series. Let's introduce you to our teams. Gilly?
All right, well, in the blue trunks, we've got the Goon Squad. They're down 0-1 in the games. They've got to win this to take it to the ace match of the series. We've got Grim Reaper SF on Vala, Jordo on Zeratul Collusion playing Diablo, Jimmy, who is on Malfurion, and the one who everyone is chasing, and Blythawk playing Zagara.
All right, and we also have in the red, we have the Goon Squad. Dayun on Uther, Teebs on ETC, Hosty on Illidan, Goat will play Falstad, and Get Up will play Rhaegar.
And it looks like right away we're going to have an engagement here with Dayun getting overpowered into a Roots, and they're trying to catch him. He will be able to just barely get away, but Collusion now is taking quite a bit of damage from ETC, and Rhaegar will be the first blood.
Wow. Diablo goes down, which is interesting on behalf of Wild Growth here. Diablo really the only tanky person on that team, although looking at the Goon Squad, they've got Uther, who is a fairly tanky support, and they've got a second support in Rhaegar and a solid tank in ETC, so it doesn't surprise me actually that poor Diablo isn't able to soak up everything by himself in the face of Goon Squad's team composition.
As far as coins, for the top chest, it does seem that Wild Growth was able to walk away with 3 to the 2 from that top chest. Blythawk on bottom is probably going to end up with these 5 coins. He's got a nice little creep highway, although he does get a Hammer of Justice stun from Dayun, but will be safely away just barely. That's going to be a nice little pickup for them. So they did end up on top as far as those coins, but there's a long way to go until the first turn-in and several Merc and coin camps that will be spawning shortly.
Absolutely. And as we keep mentioning, those coins are going to be really, really important here, but there is a lot of early game aggression, so maybe the team fighting is not going to be so much of an afterthought as we thought.
Yeah, for sure. Jordo did go for the greater cleave, so not picking up block, going for more damage here will be a little bit squishier. Of course, we'll have to watch for that, as they are the team with only 1 healer. But Malfurion picked up scouting drone, as did ETC. So both teams have a scouting drone. They're really valuing vision here on this map.
Yeah, and that makes sense because they want to know if their opponents are about to turn in. They want to know if they have room to turn in. They want to know if their objectives are being compromised or stolen on their side of the map. So certainly very important here.
And Blythawk just continuing to throw down as much creep as possible. Really wants to keep up this creep highway as much as possible, not only to help out with regeneration, but so that they can see what all is happening. This is an easy place to come in and get a gank, so that's going to help since she is laning on bottom, and then of course they can see when their opponents are turning in. So they've turned in 7 coins so far. They're getting very close to that turn in, and there it is. Zeratul will pick that up, and the first Blackheart's Barrage will be for the Goon Squad.
Yeah, that will go toward their mid wall there. You'll see that the tower is almost immediately taken out. The wall and the other tower will go down. Get Up is defending, but having to stay out of the way of that barrage, and Collusion easily soaking up the damage that Get Up can deal.
So far, both teams pretty neck and neck in terms of talents, and so that's going to help. At least if they probably won't pick up this fort here. Yeah, and so that's going to make sure that they're still staying in neck and neck in terms of experience. You don't want to let the other team get too far ahead, especially before that level 10, because that gives another ability, and that's a great time for your opponents to engage upon you if you've got that lead.
Yeah, Teebs poking down to see if the bruisers in the bottom were available, but Blythawk, of course, knew exactly where Teebs was with all of this creep spread going on. Jimmy and Jordo coming to Zagara's aid. Teebs getting rooted and almost taken out solo, but being able to go back behind the wall. We do see a turn-in happening, though, from Goon Squad. They actually do have 10 coins, so the cannonballs will fly for them. they will even things up that way. There's an
Oh,
engagement
no.
going on though. Hosty getting solo and will go down, as well as Blythawk. So a 1-for-1 trade at this point. Teebs also getting very low as the fight continues, but now Goon Squad pressuring. Only 3 members left of Wild Growth that are here. Vala will join them, so now it will be 4-on-4 with a fresh Vala dealing all sorts of damage. Dayoon getting very, very low, having to back off. Teebs taking out Zeratul, evening the numbers up a little bit. 3 members of Wild Growth heading back. Blythawk coming to join them as soon as possible. Collusion has to get out of the way as he's so low. Teebs stage diving in, but is too low and will go down. They get to grab the coins. Wild Growth now in pursuit of Dayoon.
Yeah, Wild Growth pursued in there for a bit, but they didn't account for the very short respawn timers that we have at this level, and so was it Zagara who was able to come back in? Yes, I believe it was Zagara who came back in and was able to help secure a kill, evening out the experience just a little bit. Goon Squad are just a little bit ahead. Get Up here is being very, very gutsy here because he's pretty low on everything, but Collusion's going to help him take out this pirate camp, and they will get the steal on that. Now chests have spawned. Zagara is pretty much alone here for now on that bottom one, and looks like they're just going to trade. So Wild Growth's going to pick up the top one, while bottom one will go to the Goon Squad.
And both teams very even in experience right now. Level 8 for both of them, approaching their level 10 talents at the same time. They both have 6 fourths left. They have 3 kills to 4 kills. So definitely trading is the order of the day at this point.
Yes, and as I was looking at the talents, we see that this Zagara did pick up Envenom's Spines, a little more normal than the other one, the creep one that we saw there, but still going for endless creep. So really focusing on spreading the creep as much as possible, and that's just going to increase their vision and help them be able to always know where the members of Wild Growth are. Wild Growth's getting pretty close to getting their level 10s, but the Goon Squad got a turn in, and that's helping them out a bit, catch back up, and it's probably going to be one right after another when getting those heroes.
Yeah, and they knew they were safe at that turn-in because of that creep spread you mentioned. They knew they could pop down there, turn those in, and not be contested. Looks like Hosty going to jump in as Illidan try to do some damage. We see a Void Prison go down. Hosty will jump into that as well. Dordo getting a little bit low, may have to back off. Stage dive from ETC puts Teebs right in the middle of the action as well. Hosty getting an Ancestral Heal will be able to continue fighting. No deaths yet, but we will see one soon as Blythawk goes down on Zagara thanks to Hinterland Blast. Get Up also very low. Illidan will fall for the Goon Squad, and they will need to retreat as all of them are getting beyond repair.
Very, very low, even though they do have both of those healers, and Dayoon will be the next to fall. A really good Hungering Arrow, and Vala just knowing exactly how aggressive she could be with the healer behind her, are able to pick up that kill as well, and they've gained a lot of coins from there, and they're going straight to the boss. Very gutsy decision there.
Yeah, and a good use of the time they know they have. They've pushed their opponents back. They know they're all up and their opponents were not. So gambling on the fact that their opponents would not try to engage with inferior numbers, they will take this boss, which will push top for them. They've already got some bruisers pushing top. They had some, yes, bruisers pushing top here. So it's already pushed back pretty far. The boss is not going to let up on that pressure. Zagara going to go down and make sure her creep's all in order, and we will probably be seeing some more turn-in happening from Wild Growth as they have, let's see, 8, 10, 14 coins to their name, and that's exactly how many they need to turn in.
Sorry guys, did not realize that the teams had switched colors on me. I usually pick up on that when they do that, but not this time. So now I should have them corrected. Yes, Wild Growth is in blue. I think I said it wrong a couple of times when I was just looking at the colors. My bad. I apologize.
It's very confusing. They switch quite often in this tournament.
Alright, so another turn in for Wild Growth, and they're just going to try to capitalize on that as much as possible, immediately starting some merc camps, pushing back lanes where they can as well, just trying to keep this map painted blue wherever they can.
Yeah, and like we keep saying, being that this is PvE, they don't have to overextend into their enemy's territory. They can fall back and take safe things. And they also will know exactly when their opponents are crossing the line of creep that they've laid down. They were able to turn in all 14 coins because they knew that no one was there. And now it looks like Get Up is realizing that's a really important thing. Gonna try to take out a lot of these creep tumors that are hanging around turn-in.
We've got level 13 talents here for Wild Growth, but we never did go over the heroics, so let's do that really fast. For Wild Growth, we have Strafe, Apocalypse, Devouring Maw, Void Prison, and Tranquility. We saw the Void Prison into Apocalypse combo there. And then Hinterland Blast, Metamorphosis, Stage Dive, Divine Shield, and Ancestral Healing. And here we go with an engagement. Overpower on Teebs immediately. They're going to try to take him out. He does get Divine Shielded, and he's going to walk right into that Void Prison, but it's only a matter of time. Here comes the Apocalypse, catches right on time. The Ancestral Hero will go off, but it doesn't matter. They take him out so quickly, and they're going after Daeun, and Rhaegar killed both the supports at the same time. Man, that Void Prison into Apocalypse was perfectly timed.
Man, yeah, there was nothing they could do to protect poor Teebs. The Ancestral Healing went down in such a clutch timing, and then he was able to duck right into the Void Prison, which seemed like it might help him out, but it did not, as the Apocalypse Void Prison combo was executed perfectly. We know that that's a tough one to make sure the timing is right, but they did that just right, and it really worked out well for Wild Growth, as they will now look to turn in again.
And Wild Growth has a lot of coins, but they're going to drop that just a bit. They still have more left over after turning in 16, and it's gotta feel pretty good as they head down to these bottom bruisers.
They didn't even bother to reset up the creep, so I'm thinking they're feeling pretty confident right now. It looks like Goon Squad trying to check out the middle, trying to take out even more creep tumors. I don't know that that's the best use of the time, but there's not a whole lot that they can do right now. There aren't any mercenary camps up for them. They know that they probably shouldn't be trying to engage when there's so much happening toward their base, so they're going to try to pave the way for their siege giants that are pushing in the bottom lane.
Interested in this Falstad picking up Crippling Hammer at 13, increasing the movement speed slow of hammering to 50%. A lot of times we see the talent. I'm not 100%. It's the Lightning Rod talent that deals increasing damage every time it hits. A lot of times we'll see that there, but right now we're seeing them going to take out this bottom fort, so they are at least getting a little bit of experience, but unfortunately they are going to have trouble here because there was no way really out. They are trapped by Wild Growth, who have come in here. They're going to flip over Goat, and now there is a Void Prison on 2 members. Stage Dive is going to jump down, but there is the Apocalypse, and they're still doing a ton of damage to these members who weren't in the Void Prison, but nobody has died just yet, and Grim Reaper is getting very low, thanks to Hosty, who has chased her down, now is going after Blythehawk as well. And everybody is getting super low. Jordo and Goat basically trading blows. Goat really wants to catch it, will secure the kill. And Rhaegar just go down as well, but there goes Falstad thanks to a great shadow charge from Collusion. And it looks like 4 people will go down on the side of Wild Growth, with Collusion being the only one up, and only 2 heroes died on the Goon Squad.
What an interesting engagement. So what we saw there is that if Goon Squad can manage to survive the initial assault from Wild Growth, where they have so much damage, and then just stay in there past the healing as well from their one solitary support, once that happens, there's not much more that Wild Growth can blow. They're done. So if Goon Squad can manage to survive that, they've got the healing to continue to sustain, which is what they did there. And that's given themselves a nice little boost back to their both at level 17 talents now. And they've just got to make sure that they don't lose any more forts, as they are really behind in structures at this point, Gilly.
Yeah, they definitely are behind in structures. They've got to be really careful about turn-ins from here on out, both that they don't die at them because they can be seen whenever they go there, but also limiting the amount of turn-ins left for Wild Growth. They did pick up 2 Blood for Bloods with their level 16 talents, and that's going to help. That'll help them burn down people for sure. But will it be enough? We'll see very soon.
I do think that we will probably see strength continue to grow for Goon Squad in terms of this composition that they picked. But if Daeun gets out of position like that, things are not going to be easy. The Ancestral Heal will go down on Daeun. They will get a Void Prism, though, on Hosty and get up. The Apocalypse will go down. Misses actually quite a bit. It does do a little bit of damage to Goat, but no one goes down yet, and we are seeing that healing pay off. Hosty's still alive and kicking some sort of serious butt. We've only lost Zeratul so far for Wild Growth. Teebs jumping in to try to continue to zone people out of position. Grim Reaper getting healed up. Probably going to be heading behind the wall now. It looks like Wild Growth will need to disengage if they don't want to lose more members. Ooh, but that overpower on Get Up, will it pull it behind far enough? The coins are all over the ground, Gilly.
that's a lot of coins, but Get Up survived that actually. And they did take out the Malfurion, so but Grim Reaper though ended up with a lot of those coins. She's got 12 on her now. Zagara has gone down, so that will be the next to go down on the side of Wild Growth.
Behind the wall, so brutal. Just trying to get a heal and you go down.
Grim Reaper is going after this top chest as fast as she can shoot out some of her crossbolts. Yeah, that's what's called, right?
I mean, bolts from a crossbow makes sense. Crossbow.
All right. Crossbow, that's what it's... Man, I could not think of it anyway. Not important.
Has 17 coins. Oh, trying to get that turn in. Not wanting to get picked off. Rhaegar is, or excuse me, Rhaegar is so close, but Diablo comes to zone out. Collusion going to add one more coin to that pile, and there will be another turn in for Wild Growth. That's crucial at this point.
It is. That's going to be a keep. There's no turrets. There's one turret in front of this one. None in front of this one. And Goon Squad are just trying to desperately stay in this by taking out any merc camps, relieving any pressure that's on them, and picking up coins. But that's yet another turn in for Wild Growth. It's going to be another lane that's going to be pushing in with catapults. No, Fort, no.
Looks like Wild Growth is going to take the boss. They know their opponents are down in the bottom because of that creep spread yet again. So they're going to go ahead and take this boss in relative safety. Their opponents are coming up to challenge them, but the boss will be captured before they get there. We will likely see a team fight, though.
I mean, they're not going to want to fight underneath that boss on top of everything else, but they are going to maybe just try to catch them out while the boss pushes further. Malfurion's had some really killer roots. That's actually what helped them secure 2 kills before, but here we go. Mama has captured a couple of people. No, there is the Void Prison, and we should see in Apocalypse soon, and there it is. They've already taken out ETC and Apocalypse into the Hinterland Blast. They've taken out Uther. They're moving in as well. Jordan's trying to get away, but he will be the first to fall on the side of Wild Growth. Hosty trying desperately to catch up with Vala, as is Goat. I really would like to catch him. Grim Reaper dodges the hammer, and now Collusion is trying to save his teammate, but he will take some lightning damage, and it's going to be 3 for 2, but in favor of the Goon Squad, so these fights are so close.
We have to remember, too, that Wild Growth did get the boss out of that. So they knew they were going to have to face an engagement, and they're kind of getting to the point where engagements are not going quite as favorably for them, especially now that Goon Squad has reached level 20. But the boss is really important and did end up pushing all the way, it looks like, close to the core, because Goon Squad had to get back there and defend it. So they didn't have time to continue to do other things on the map. That Wild Growth did. They are gathering some coins. They've now got, let's see how many between them. Looks like they've got 9. But their opponents on Goon Squad do have 13, so they don't want to let them by to turn those in, because that would be a turn in for Goon Squad. They've only had, I think, 1 turn in before in this entire game, so they would really like that.
Yeah, they're still on level 12. They're going to come in, they're going to try to push away Collusion. At this point, they really just want to catch everyone out they possibly could and then maybe try to push to win here. They've got Collusion. That was a really weird stage dive there as far as how it looked on the team. But oh no, now the Void Prison. Nice blink from Teebs into the Void Prison to save his life, but Rhaegar is going to go down very quickly. They are losing so many people because of the damage from the strafe that was laid out on those who were stuck in the Apocalypse. Now they've dropped everyone except Hosty, who will go into a maw for some reason. He's going to be really sad when he leaves. There's Dayon as well, and he will be the last one to go down, and this should be game. We should see Wild Growth push all the way across here.
Collusion is carrying 16 coins. Other members of his team are carrying coins. There are 2 chests up while the entirety of Goon Squad is dead. So as far as Blackheart's concerned, he favors Wild Growth.
That he does. Those fights were really, really close. And I know they were just trying, they knew that they had a limited amount of time because of the amount of health up on their core. They would have really liked to secure a team right there, and they probably could have pushed in through a keep and toward the core, but it would have been really close. Unfortunately for them, not quite enough, as Wild Growth will take the game and the series and has won this week's amateur series.
Yeah, what a cool game. I think we saw kind of that late game dominance starting to come out from Goon Squad. And in some matches, I have seen that be the deciding factor, that a team looks like they're on the back foot the whole time. But then as soon as they hit a certain stride with level 20, their team is just unstoppable. I think maybe that's what Goon Squad was hoping for. It just didn't quite pan out for them this time.
Yeah, I mean, they even got their level 20 abilities talents just slightly before Wild Growth. But by that point, they had lost so many structures, and it's very difficult to come back on that map when you've lost so many structures like that, because any one turn-in at that point just does so much damage, and it was really tough for them. But unfortunately, because of the disconnect, where we probably would have seen Goon Squad win, it would have been not for sure, but looked pretty set that way. We would have had a game 3, but that's all right, guys. We still got an awesome game 2, and Wild Growth are your winners.
Congratulations to Wild Growth winning this week's amateur series. Very well played. Cool strategies, cool ideas. I loved seeing the pinball Chen. That was probably the highlight of the week for me. What about you, Gilly?
I think pinball Chen is where it's at for sure. That was really good. And also, I know you didn't get to see it, but we got to see Sonya Bloodlust in the same comp, which didn't work out, but made me happy.
Well, I'll have to check out that replay. Guys, don't forget that you can check out the replays and VODs. You can check out all sorts of cool content from Heroes Hype Amateur Series and Heroes Hype in general. Gilly and I actually produce a weekly video that goes over the Heroes Hype newsletter, which you can get in your email if you would like. It's a good way to stay in touch with everything that's going on in the Heroes scene. And at this point in our history, if you will, there's a lot going on that you may want to keep informed about as we look forward to launch on June 2nd of this year. So do take the time to follow and check out Heroes Hype. Again, remember that your attractiveness overall could be increased if you click the follow button both here and on Twitter for them. Really love everything they do, and I really appreciate them inviting us here. I'm really loving the opportunity to practice casting, as it's something I've really wanted to do for a long time. So thanks especially from me to the Heroes Hype Amateur Series for allowing me as an amateur to practice as well.
Yes, same to Heroes Hype from me as well. I love casting. Wednesday night is my favorite night every week because I get to cast this and hang out with all of these awesome people from Heroes Hype and the really fun players from all the teams. And of course, my good friend here, Anna, as well. And Anna and I also produce a Heroes of the Storm community show once a week. It's on Thursday evenings on twitch.tv/missclicks. This week, we will have I believe one or two members from the winning Cal Berkeley team to talk about Heroes of the Dorms. That's going to be really fun tomorrow. Be sure you guys follow Missclicks on Twitter and Twitch, MISSCLIKS, so that you can be there for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anna, where can people follow you?
You can find me at Anna Prosser on almost all the things, especially Twitter. That's the best place to keep track of me. I do stream almost every day, but it's on all sorts of different channels. So Twitter is where you can find all the links. My Twitch is also at Anna Prosser, twitch.tv/Anna Prosser, but you'll also find me on Missclicks, which Gilly just said, and here on Wednesdays. And I would really appreciate hanging out with you, so stay in touch. What about you, Gilly? Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at GillyweedSC2, like StarCraft 2. I stream every weekday on there at 3 p.m. Central. And I also am on here Wednesday nights on the Missclicks for our Eye on the Storm show on Thursday nights. And then I also am one of the English casters for Storm League. So if for any weird reason you're awake at 6 a.m. Central Time on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we cast that. That's on Africa.tv. So like Anna said, usually the best way to figure out what I'm doing is to follow me on Twitter. I always post what I'm doing on there, and that's twitter.com/GillyweedSC2. Any final thoughts, Anna?
Just thanks to the teams for being a part of this. It's something that's really fun for us. And, you know, after seeing Heroes of the Dorm this past weekend, where we saw some previous players from the Heroes Hype Amateur Series that went on to almost win the entire thing in College Tuition, and they got all sorts of really cool prizes and got to be on ESPN2, it really warmed my heart and made me even more committed to this, what we're doing here. So guys, thank you for putting it out there, for practicing, for wanting to improve, and letting us be a part of that.
Yeah, congrats to all of the players who are here in Heroes Hype that did compete in Eye on the Storm in the Heroes Hype Amateur Series. We had some, like you said, we had people go all the way to the finals, and that's really amazing. And we definitely want to congratulate them. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week. Bye.